ready to go. On the Fan, New York Sports Radio. Mike's on, Mike's on. He'll get you the sports any way that he can. It's Mike Francesa on the Fan. Sports Radio 66 and 101.9 FM, WFAN.
From the studios of WFAN, this is Mike's on, Francesa on the Fan on this Monday, the 10th day of December, and one of those rare Mondays where you had something to smile about yesterday. A couple of games and a lot of wacky stuff going on around the league, a lot of bad teams winning. Obviously what went on with the Patriots, some crazy finishes, and again, some very positive results. Let's begin with the Jets for a change. And, you know, what I said about this game yesterday before it happened is the same thing I said after the game. This is why you play Sam. This is what it's about. It's about him. It's about letting him develop. It's about letting him go out there and do the things he needs to do to become the leader you need him to be. And yesterday you saw that, where he left the game, came back, had a day where he wasn't doing very much, and then stepped into some throws in the fourth quarter, made some plays. The Jets made the right call. I was hoping against hope they wouldn't go for a field goal down there because, you know, with their record, what would be the reason? And they didn't. They knocked it in there, and they come away with a nice come-from-behind win that really gives them something, you know, that they can take forward with them. That's what it's about. You get Sam having a come-from-behind win. You have him making a couple of great throws in the fourth quarter. You have him standing in there and doing the things that you want to see him do over and over and over again. And the Jets get a W. Does it make up for everything that's going on this season? Of course not. Was it a performance for the ages? No. What it was the first of what you hope is many come-from-behind wins for Sam Darnold in a Jet uniform. That's what it is. And you saw him standing there, do what he does, completely unflappable, make the big play, and take the Jets home, as he did yesterday. And again, you know, considering what's going on with the Jets and the Bills, considering some of the stuff that went on the field, it was a very good win for the Jets, a positive. Listen, it's not going to save the coach's job. It's not going to send them off in some different, chase. It's not going to change who they are. What it is, though, is a W, and every W counts in this league. It just does. It makes a difference. It changes things. It does a little bit as far as the mentality. And what you're doing here is you're getting the kid ready for next year, which is what the idea of this whole season was. And they were very strange how they handled him for a couple of weeks. Overly protective more than anything else. I think overly protective on a couple of fronts, but it didn't matter. He's in yesterday, makes the plays down the stretch. They put up 14 points in the fourth quarter touchdowns, lead your team on fourth quarter drives, put the ball in the end zone. That's what it's about, and that's what he did yesterday. And the Jets go on to do a 27-23 win. For the Giants, listen, we talked about it during the week. The Redskins were decimated. So it's not about beating on them. They have been beat up about as badly as a team can be beat up. Take away 4/5 of their offensive line, take away 2 quarterbacks, put Mark Sanchez, who was not ready to play, in there to play, and you get what you get. That's it. But what you got again was, with Beckham, whatever led him to sit out on Saturday, okay. Just take the injury as it is. That's all. You can never dispute injuries. No one did. So you go down there, make the plays you got to make, get behind the running back, let him make some plays. This is what you envisioned all year for this team. Now, not every play was pretty yesterday. You know, not every play was pretty by a long shot. I mean, so from that standpoint, there's still some things on pass protection that have to be corrected. Even over these last 3 weeks of the season, you'd like to see them corrected. But you saw some enormous runs from Barkley. He had an incredible game. Eli had a very efficient game. That's all you're looking for. That's what you've gotten over the last 5 weeks. Efficiency, experience, and then you got Loletta to play. Now, you heard something yesterday after the game. I don't know if anybody paid attention to it in the one-sided win. I have rarely heard a coach make a statement that he made yesterday after the game. It was almost like, hey, you've been waiting to see this guy. You bugged me about him. Now you're happy with what you saw. That was the essence of what you got from the head coach about Lauletta. It's almost like, hey, I hope you got what you needed. Because it was not, it was never an issue. It's never been an issue. It should have never been an issue. We knew Eli was going to play. You knew he was going to play Eli and try to win as many games as he did. It almost stuck in his craw that he had to answer questions every week about Eli. As Eli was sitting there, and to me that was when you wanted to see Lauletta get in the game, is basically see him get in the game when Eli had his feet up. That was the way it should have been. And he went in there, didn't do anything, didn't make any plays. And do you have sound from the coach today? Yeah. Oh, you have it? Let me hear it. Go ahead.
I've fielded enough questions regarding Kyle Lauletta that those of you that were interested in seeing him, hopefully you got a chance to see what you were looking for.
Boy, oh boy, that is a shot. I mean, that was for hey, you bugged me about this, and he goes in, and in a game where the other team is virtually defenseless, and the Giants could have put up 60 if they wanted to. If they wanted to keep their first string in the game. And he had a rough couple of minutes, okay? Means nothing. I didn't see anything positive, but it means nothing. I understand he's 0 for 5 and threw an interception. It doesn't matter. But for him to go to that level, to actually say, I hope you saw what you needed. In other words, are you happy now? You bugged me for week after week. I got a quarterback here who's thrown for 50,000 yards, 355 touchdowns, has won 2 Super Bowls, and you're going to ask me about this guy every week, just because you're not happy with the quarterback plan, that you wanted a different quarterback here. Okay, so you're going to just drive this agenda when anybody, if you didn't get your fill a long time ago of who should have been the quarterback for the rest of this season, I mean, come on. Here's the bottom line, and I know it bothers people. Eli can still play. If you protect him, he can still play. And if you watch the games around the league, what you see is the same thing in every game. When you pressure quarterbacks, they throw picks. They get stripped. They make... How many bad throws did Trubisky and the Ram quarterback make last night? How many horrific throws? I mean, bad. They were putrid in that game. Absolutely awful were they in that game last night. How many bad plays did Prescott make in the Dallas game? The only reason the Eagles were even in that game was he kept them in the game. He then made a couple of long throws because they had one guy who they picked on. And remember, the Eagles are down to like the FedEx guys at the corners. They made a couple of big plays with Cooper. He got a couple of deep balls down there, but he had, at one point, he was the only thing standing between the Eagles and defeat was the plays Prescott was making. And the Dallas defense, listen, they had a great 3 quarters and then just fell apart in the fourth quarter. I mean, just absolutely fell apart in the fourth quarter. But to get back to the Giants, rarely have I heard a coach in a blowout game with a kid coming off a bench, getting a couple of throws, meaningless throws, in a game. But it just had irked him all year. You could tell that he had to deal with that. I hope you got what you needed. In other words, can we drop it? Now, with each win, and it's going to bother some people, you're going to get to where the Giants are going to have to make a decision. And it's a legitimate decision. Do they want to go with another quarterback next year? Do they want to go with Eli next year? Is Eli capable of leading them? If they have an offensive line, absolutely. I've been telling you that all year. In the last 5 games, Eli's 10 touchdowns, 2 intercepts. His quarterback rating is probably 100 and something. You know he's accurate. You know he knows how to play. I mean, he's experienced. He still puts the ball on a dime when he has time to throw it. I mean, so it's not an issue. He will not be the issue if you can put a good offensive line there. Could you get another year out of him? You could. Now, whether they want to go that way or not, I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know what Eli's plan is. He's on the contract for next year. First, they're going to try and win these last 3 games. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to get in the playoffs anyway, even if they win these last 3 games, because Dallas is not going to lose all these games. So they're not going to get into the playoffs. And more likely, the Cowboys won't need that last game to win the division. That's more likely. They will have locked it up before they get here. That's more likely, but that's just the way it goes. But you still like to get to 8-8. Tennessee, very tough game for the Giants at Indy because they don't have a pass rush. Playing Indy is not going to be easy, obviously. And they're still alive. So they just win in Houston yesterday where they have that kind of pass rush and they can win there. Now, Luck dominates the division. He always has. The bottom line is, though the Giants can get to 8-8, it would be a heck of an achievement at 1-7 to get to 8-8. I know, and that's why the last couple of weeks when I talked to the coach, I brought up those games because it started as I saw this division dissolve. And as I saw the Giants starting to put a couple of the pieces together, and they're a long way from being good, please. But they have won 4 out of 5. And they easily could have got a break in the Carolina game where Carolina, which has completely fallen apart, and Rivera's job now is very much on the line. And Gano, who's hurt, missed a 52-yarder 2 weeks ago, made a 63-yarder to beat the Giants. And then you get the 19-3 game against the Eagles. If the Giants had one of those 2, no less 2, they're right in the thick of this thing, right in the middle of the division. And then they would have overcome that awful start. I mean, you could make a case right now that, without any real craziness that they're 7-6, and flip a coin, they're 6 and they're 6-7. But instead, the reality is they're 5-8 because they did lose those 2 games. And so this year they will be home. They won't be in the playoffs. But they're not that far off in this division. I understand that. They do not think for 1 second that they have fixed this offensive line. They have not. They got some kids playing better on defense. Give them credit for that. Vernon's given them a little life lately. This team they ran into yesterday was decimated, absolutely decimated. The only thing they could do was rush the quarterback. Obviously, Barkley gave them a big lift yesterday. And then obviously they made some plays off play action, so they were efficient in that regard. And they got themselves a laugher. When was the last time the Giants had a put your feet up laugher? I mean, it's been a long time since I can't even remember the last date. Somebody have to give me one that I remember. I don't even remember one. I don't even know when it was. Probably 2 or 3 years ago. I'm sure there was one in the 11-5 season. I don't remember the last time they had a game where they didn't have to play Eli in the fourth quarter. I don't even remember when it was. But when you sit there at 1-7 and people call up and say, you know what, I'd rather they lose every game. That's why it's so stupid. You try and turn your season around. You try and do what they're doing now. You think Shermer's not happy about what he's building for next year at 5-8 after being 1-7? Of course he is. He badly wants to go down and finish this 7-1. And put some respectability back in the franchise. So for one day anyway, a laugher for the Giants and a come-from-behind win for the Jets. There's promise in Sam Darnold. Everything you're looking for is in that quarterback. Now you got to put the team around them. That is McCagnon's job. They need to find a coach. They need to find someone who can develop this player, and they need to put players around them. They need offensive linemen. They need a big play receiver. They need an edge pass rusher. They obviously need those things. They have the money to go get them. They have the quarterback in place. He's here. He's right there. You saw him yesterday. You saw him drop the ball right in where it had to be on a big play when the game on the line. That's what you want to see. And for the Giants, hey, it's a lot more fun finishing this way than finishing the other way. And there's a little bounce in their step, and they're having a little fun. And they did it yesterday even without Odell. So it wasn't even there. Now they have no gimmies. The teams they're playing are all winning records. They all have winning records. They're all thinking about going to the playoffs. So there's no easy games. They're going to have to play hard and play well to win any one of these 3 games. None of it's going to be easy. You'd like to have it mean something when they play the Cowboys that last week. Odds are, I mean, the way it shakes out, Dallas is not going to be playing for seeding. I think they'll have wrapped up their division, and they probably will be locked into the 4-5 game when they come here. That would be my, looking at this thing right now, that would be what I see. I see them locked into the 4-5 game with nowhere to go and probably taking the week off. I mean, that's just because they'll have to play the week after. That's probably how I see it. That's fine. I mean, that might be what we're looking at. You hope it's not the case. You hope it's something else where there's some crazy, way where the Giants can still be alive. I understand what has to happen, but the bottom line is I don't expect it. That was a very big win yesterday for them. Strange game. One they tried to give away a lot. One they almost gave away. Weird plays, weird calls, a lot of weird stuff. League was bizarre. League's always bizarre. League was even more bizarre than normal yesterday. I mean, from the 4th down play Kansas City made, then misses the field goal, to the Denver Broncos getting beat. After beating the Chargers and Steelers, they can't beat the Niners. The Steelers can't beat the Raiders. The Chargers almost couldn't beat the Bengals. I mean, strange. And then, of course, what went on with the New England game. If any other coach had that happen to him with the personnel he had on the field, he'd have trouble going home. They'd want him out of they can't say a word. They move on to the next game. Well, of course, they've, won the division and, all they do is win. We understand that. But if that were any other place, why would you have Gronkowski on the field when it's a quarterback who could not reach that goal line in 100 years? You don't want him. You're telling me you wanted Gronkowski out there to tackle? Because he wasn't going to be there to break up a pass play. He can't throw it that far. He's got a bad arm. And what made that play was they were expecting another pitch. And he got to the edge, and he had more speed than the Pats, who were slow. As we all know, the Pats are not a fast team. And they had the best defender on the sideline. So, I mean, and they had a tight end in the game who's got a bad leg. And ran like he had his shoelaces tied together. Anybody else that happens to. But when it happens to him, it doesn't matter. What are you going to say to him? You know what you say to him after the game? Nice game. On to whoever they're playing this week. On to Pittsburgh. And how about Pittsburgh? How about Pittsburgh? Now that Charger game, coupled with a loss to the Raiders, and now New England and New Orleans, all on the line for the Steelers, and the Pats coming off that game. Ooh, and they own the Steelers as it is. Steelers could be finishing up a heck of a finish here where they don't even go to the playoffs. This would be unbelievable. And Ravens played well yesterday. I tell you, they lost the game. Listen, he made it a miraculous 4th down play to Hill, if you saw it. Across his body, 4th down. Made an incredible play. Kept the game alive. That Hill is productive as heck. He really is amazing. Yeah, crazy games yesterday, all the way down the line. So from a Giants and Jets standpoint, either one of you jump aboard right now. We never got the Jets in early because it's been pretty much dominated by the Giants, so you're more than welcome now. Giant or Jet, after a happy Sunday. We haven't had a lot of those. How many times this year has the teams won on the same Sunday? Is this the first time, or is it anyone else win on the same Sunday this year? Did it happen? I didn't look it up. I just thought about it for the first time, so you guys could tell me. Did they win on the same Sunday this year? I don't know if they did. I don't know if they did or not. I can't remember. Somebody will remember. I don't remember. I don't feel like going back and looking. But I'm trying to remember if they did. I can't remember. They might have. Well, the Giants only won one of their first. The Jets won their games early, and the Giants only won 1 week. They were 1-7. So it was only one of those weeks. And then after that, the Jets have been losing all the way through till this last week. So this had to be the first time, I would think. More than likely. It was the first time, I'm sure. I would think. Because the Giants it had to be that one, only could be the 1 week. Like if the Jets beat Denver, the Giants won that week. What week did the Giants win out of the first 8? What week did they win? 3rd or 4th? I'm trying to remember. I can go back and look it up. I'm trying to remember what week they won their game. When they were 1-7. What week did they win their game on? I'm trying to remember. I think it was it week 4, week 3. Let's see who it is. Let's go back and look. And did the Jets win week 3? I'm trying to remember. I think they did. Week 3, the Jets lost to the Browns. So, no. So, this was the first week this year that they won on the same Sunday. Okay? So, it's a big Sunday in New York. They both win on the same Sunday. So, it is a week of optimism and hope for bigger things. The question now becomes, and this, if you remember, last Tuesday, I asked the coach straight out, do you want Eli to be a quarterback next year? I said, this is the question you're going to start to hear now. It's about next year. This year, we know he's playing right through, unless you're just someone who just can't stand the sight of it. Last time what? No. I mean, this year. Before this year, I didn't care what it was. I just wanted they did it this year. So this was the first time this year. So, but the last time I had Pat on, last Tuesday, I said to him, you're going to start feeling this question now. This is going to be the one. Except for someone who just can't stand the sight of him, you know he's playing the rest of this year. The question now becomes, what about next year? You have him under contract. As you win games here, is he your quarterback? You can say, yes, he is. He hasn't said that. That question is going to become one he starts to hear now. You won't have any more stuff about the backup quarterback. I think that's gone away now. I mean, even for the people who have brought it up, just because they have maybe Eli, did something to him in a previous life. I mean, I don't know what it is. Is dying to see this kid play. I have no idea. They were comparing him to Rutledge inside the organization, and you're dying to see him play. Exactly why, I have no idea. And then you get the idea, well, the Giants sent Webb away because they knew we could beat Eli out. Nobody picked him up. Eli has 50,000 passing yards and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. He couldn't beat Webb out. I mean, this stuff is so dumb, it's almost laughable. Nobody even picked him up. That's how good he was. So now it's about next year. That's the question. And the only question. And a fair one. Is he going to be the quarterback next year? Is that the plan? Is it not the plan? Only the Giants can answer it. And they're going to have to start answering it because they're going to hear it now week in and week out. Back after this.